what helps a brand ultimately have that longevity so they're not a flash in the pan? And first, your brand story, right? And second is your product, differentiated product. And third is your go to market strategy. And this, admittedly, is the most difficult to nail down because it's how do you go to market? What are the levers at play? But believe it or not, the first two, the brand story, the product story, are so critical, and so many brands rush to the go to market without
Yes.
sort of nailing the first two. And so there has to be differentiation. There has to be innovation. I always say innovate or die.
Welcome to There Is No Alternative, a podcast about entrepreneurship where I talk to founders, investors, and experts in the consumer world. I'm Tina Bou-Saba, founder of CXT Investments, where I invest in consumer brands and technology. Today, we are so fortunate to be joined by Emine ErSelcuk, an incredibly knowledgeable, experienced executive in the beauty industry. I have known Emine for many years and am so excited to be hosting her today. Welcome, Emine.
My goodness. Thank you so much for having me, Tina.
Thank you for joining me. It's really an honor. We have so much to discuss. Um, okay, so to kick us off, I would love to know, when did you become interested in beauty as a professional pursuit?
My goodness. Well, I'm going to go way back to
Great.
being a teenager in Lafayette, Indiana. There's not that much going on in Indiana. As a child in the Midwest, there's a lot of corn and soybean around us. And so I was very curious about a lot of creative elements, the arts, music, and I shopped at the mall a lot. And ultimately, I ended up working at a perfume stand, one of those annoying places in the middle of the mall that people are always trying to get you to try different perfumes. And it was unique in that it was all oil fragrances. We would mix them up and match the fragrances at the time. And then we also made some of our own unique fragrances, and I would sell them to new customers. We had a lot of loyal customers. It was called Elegance. And I think that's when I got bitten by the beauty bug. And, I ended up going to college, graduated, ended up being in the tech world, believe it or not. But I always wanted to get back into beauty. And when I had an opportunity to meet someone who was in the beauty space in San Francisco, I tried very hard to get into her brand. It was called Bare Essentials. And I think there were 75 people there by the time I was actually hired, which I think was maybe 2 or 3 years after I'd first reached out because I didn't have any beauty experience. But I had a lot of gumption and determination, and I kept calling the head of sales and I would say, how about now? How about now? And I ended up moving from actually the travel industry where I was managing a portfolio in the airline industry of about 500 million. So I understood how to drive a business. I understood how to manage teams. I knew how to negotiate. So I took all those transferable skills and applied them into the beauty world. And someone named Leslie Blodgett gave me my first opportunity, and she still remains one of my favorite people in the beauty space. And she's been my mentor and opened up many doors for me.
That is so great. Bayer has an incredible group of alums. I feel like, I mean, particularly in the Bay Area, but really an incredible, formative beauty experience, it feels like.
You are so right, Tina. It's such fun for us to get together. We see each other very frequently. We have this wonderful group in the Bay Area called the Bay Area Beauty Mafia, as you know, that help
Right.
sponsor. Honestly, there's so many individuals that were really talented at that time, and they catapulted into incredible roles. Some of them are
Yeah.
founders themselves, and it's been really fun to keep up with them. I'll also say to you, my first real kind of meaty role within Bare Essentials Essentials was running the Sephora business for Bare Essentials. And so I was gifted the Sephora channel after
Wow.
managing QVC. And it was early days for Sephora, and they were open to someone who was from outside the industry. And I always think it's like cross training for your brain when you come from another industry and you apply your
Yeah.
knowledge into a new one. And Sephora greeted me with open arms. I felt so fortunate to be brought in. Margarita Arigata, who is the head of merchandising at the time, was very generous with her knowledge. She still is. And I have sort of adopted her as a mentor, but she was very open to all the ideas that we had. And we were able to catapult very quickly to the number one brand at Sephora. And part of the reason I'm telling you this is that group of partners at Sephora, they are still also in these incredible roles at Sephora and outside of Sephora. Some of them, again, are brand founders. I think the leadership team currently is still the group that I kind of cut my teeth working on the business with. And I was just so grateful for the relationships and the
Yeah.
network that I have in this business, and amazed by the powerful, incredible women that are
Yeah.
so smart and driving, I think the bulk of the innovation that we see today.
Yes. 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 Well, much to discuss on that theme. Before we get there, before we get to today, I would love to hear about how your career progressed. So you were at Bare Essentials, and what did you do next?
Yes, great. Well, I've been in the business, I'm going to date myself, 21 years now.
Amazing.
And I have been very fortunate to have worked with some amazing brands that have had these incredible viral moments and catapulted 100 million in a short period of time. So I started with Bare Essentials on the merchandising side, worked with Sephora, ended up getting lured away by a senior exec that I had worked with at Bare Essentials to lead sales and merchandising at Perricone MD. So another brand that had really experienced a viral period, and a lot to learn for me because I was coming from a color brand and going to luxury skincare. I ended up being brought back to Bare Essentials to run all of wholesale. So Leslie Blodgett really didn't accept that I had ever left and brought me back. I was there for 2 years, and then I had an opportunity to join the Estee Lauder companies. So I worked with the Estee Lauder companies to help them build their specialty business, which was the smallest at the time, the smallest channel, but the fastest growing. So that included Sephora, Ulta, Shoppers Drug Mart, all their kind of open sell environments. And I was able to work with about 15 different brands. So Smashbox, Clinique, the Estee Lauder brand, work with different categories. So hair, we had Bumble and Bumble, we had Hermes and designer fragrances, so ADF. It really gave me the opportunity to see how these businesses operated across different channels and also in different categories. So I was able to really study those P&Ls, but ultimately help them figure out how they were going to win and succeed in specialty, which I think the primary partner at that time definitely was Sephora. Ulta
Mhm.
was also very important as an kind of up and comer at the time.
Yeah, which is wild to think about
It
today,
is.
in that they have both grown so much, in the past 10 plus years. But you were there really early on.
Yeah, and it feels ridiculous to say that Ulta was an up and comer. I mean,
Yeah.
it's absolutely absurd when you look at it from that
Right.
perspective. But if you remember, Estee Lauder companies was primarily dominant in the department store channel. So for
Yeah.
them, Sephora was really kind of a new channel, and Ulta seemed a little scary because Ulta, of course, represents prestige and mass,
Yeah.
and of course, salon as well. I think the Estee Lauder companies, they were very curious, but a little cautious about really launching fully in Ulta. I was a big advocate, I just
Mhm.
want to say.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Well, you're always thinking, seeing where it's going. So I get that. Okay. So then you eventually found your way to Morphe. Tell me.
Yes, yes, and I'm skipping a few steps. So from the Estee Lauder companies, I had an opportunity with Stella and Dot to create a beauty brand from scratch. And Leslie Blodgett, you'll see she's a common theme here in my
Okay.
career, was
Yeah.
a board member. So she brought me in, and we created a beautiful brand called Ever. Um, I was then approached by David Slatiano, who is running Sephora, CEO. He was moving to Kendo, which was born out of LVMH and Sephora, and of course is known for Fenty by Rihanna, Ulla Hendrickson. We had Marc Jacobs at the time, Kat Von D, and a number of brands. And he brought me in to work side by side with so many of my previous Sephora partners, including one of my favorite merchants of all time, Kristen Walcott, who of course is the CEO of Kendo now. And I was able to bring my expertise in and build out their international business. So for me, this was a huge opportunity. I had never really run international, and I was able to represent all of the Kendo brands and building out the international business. I went from there to doing some consulting and had a really great experience with VMG and helped them with the acquisition of the Drunk Elephant brand. But that was really short-lived, that experience working on my own, because I was approached by Morphe and the previous team that had run Bare Essentials. So it was kind of like bringing the band back together again. There were about 10 of us, I think, when I started. And instead of running wholesale, which was sort of my, I guess my full area of expertise, I was able to um, work on the strategy for retail. So we opened 50 stores within, gosh, under 3 years. They were all profitable. It was an incredible adventure. We worked with the mega influencers at the time. I had store openings where we would have, my goodness, we had thousands of people that would show up. I would say the average store opening, we had 5,000 people, and the biggest was in Manchester, England. We had 21,000 people show up. It was like having a rock concert.
Wow.
So incredible viral moments with that brand, and very, very exciting. I did end up leaving right before COVID hit. I had a C-level position at Ipsy, which is, of course, beauty subscription. So I ran merchandising there, and we acquired BoxyCharm while I was a part of that business. And it was an incredible adventure, a different channel of operation. I had never done beauty subscription, so that was a new opportunity for me to learn, but incredible experience. And I'm really grateful for all of these experiences because it's really given me a taste of, various channels, international, domestic, different categories, different P&Ls, small businesses, kind of startup environments, high growth companies, turnaround businesses. So I'm really grateful to have had all of these experiences, and I don't quit anyone. I love so many of the people I've worked with. So it's given me a wonderful network that I
Yeah.
have today within the industry.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you are beloved in the beauty
Oh,
industry. It's really amazing. One of the things that I think is so unique about your career is while it has, as you said, the past 21 years have been in beauty, you have seen everything from department stores. Didn't even talk about like channels like QVC, but I'm sure you worked on
I
that when you
started
were
with
there,
QVC with
right?
Bare Essentials. Yep.
Exactly,
Hmm.
QVC, Sephora, Ulta, Morphe stores, right? Opening up those, and then influencers. And I mean, I think
Yes.
that's so interesting because, of course, today influencers, we throw it around because it's become such a a common marketing strategy. But you working at Morphe were in the early days of that, and so I mean,
Yes.
you have seen all of it. It's amazing.
Thank you. Actually, in the early days, we could see, all of us in the industry, we could see Anastasia Beverly Hills was
Yeah.
really killing it. And Huda Beauty started to, really build. And we were all trying to figure out, how do we commercialize social media? Because no one had really figured that out. And of course, by the time we did figure it out, the algorithm kept changing and whatnot. But, I think what's been really consistent throughout my career is there are powerful levers to build viral moments. Those levers change over time, but the virality is still available to, I think, every beauty brand. You figure out how you do it, you create a community. It's not a one-way street in terms of how we communicate. We take that feedback and we make changes quickly. I don't think it's by accident that in the early days of my career, You look at Sephora coming into this market, they could not bring in any of the department store brands. The
Yeah.
department store brands kind of locked out those big, big brands. And so what Sephora did instead is they went to Bare Essentials, they went to Smashbox, they went to Benefit, Urban Decay, Too Faced, and these brands are now big brands.
Yeah.
Makeup Forever, and it's such fun to see these niche sort of indie brands become these powerhouses over time. And what Sephora was really able to do is bring in a lot of innovation. All of the brands that I just mentioned were able to move quickly. They were innovative, they were nimble, they took feedback from the consumer. Many of us were on QVC where we got direct feedback,
Yeah.
really helpful because we would move so quickly in developing new products. And those of us in color could move even faster. And I think that's really why so many of these brands were able to move rapidly and be successful. That element has not changed. I think the brands that are able to now use social media, get that feedback in real time, and continue to be nimble, they're the ones that are able to deliver what the consumer is really looking for, perhaps even before he, she, they even know what they want. And I think that remains a really important element for brands to consider as they build and scale.
So interesting. So one of the things that I feel like is is really amazing about you, Amina, is you have such an incredible combination of the like I think the art and science. And some people, because I want to ask you about something related to this, but as a general matter, nothing to do with beauty. I feel like some people who've been in an industry for a long time it's a natural tendency kind of get set in a particular way of thinking about things, you
Mhm.
know? And
Yeah.
what I think is so unique about you is that's not your brain at all, right? You're always thinking about what's the next thing. And you're really creative. That plus the business skills is a very powerful combination.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you for saying that. I feel like the luckiest person in the world that I get to work in this business. It's so much fun. So I do eat, sleep, dream,
Yes.
wake up thinking about beauty products, and I'm also a creative person. So I see beauty as a form of self-expression. I don't see beauty as in the eye of the beholder. I think it's how you want to
Mm.
express yourself, and how wonderful is it that you can take a tiny piece of product and like a piece of candy, give yourself a little boost for the day.
Yes.
And so even in a tough economy, people still want beauty products. So yes, I'm very energized. I also had a father who's a business person and a mother who is an artist. And I feel like, I was always straddling two worlds. And in order to get anything that I ever wanted from my father, I had to build a business plan. I had to sort of pitch my idea and I had to back it up with facts. But at the same time, I'm so um, personally passionate about creative and color and music and art. So I felt like merchandising was the perfect fit for me because I was able to tap into all of those areas and act like a mini GM. I couldn't be successful in Sephora managing that channel if I didn't think about how we merchandise the product. What did the packaging say? What was the offer in terms of channel marketing and how we aligned with our retail partners? How we showed up, the experiences that we created for the consumer. How does the product work? Does it really work? All of these elements. And ultimately, what is your assortment? How do you build and scale a business? How much newness do you bring in versus how much are you focused on your core? And, all of these things, ultimately, if you're selling in and selling out and you're running a P&L, you have to be very thoughtful about then what could possibly come back. So you have to think about the business elements in terms of
Mhm.
creating a healthy, scalable business. So I really love being in the center of the creative and the business. And I don't think I'd be happy in one or the other. I really love touching both.
I totally see that, like, that is exactly how I would describe you, and I love that you mentioned your parents. See, I am obsessed with understanding how people like are wired, and it's always so interesting to go back a chapter because it just, it's like pulling different threads, and the fact that, one of your parents is a business person, one was an artist, a creative, makes so much sense, right? And it's so cool. Um, okay, so can you explain for someone who may not know what merchandising
Yeah.
means?
Yeah. It's sort of a loose term. I always like to say it's kind of the less sexy sister to marketing. And the names get swapped around quite a bit, to be honest. From
So,
a merchandising, in my opinion, is anything and everything in preparation for selling a product. And I think the really good merchants get involved with what the product is, how it's developed, what it promises, how it looks, how it comes into formation, which could be a single product, the interior packaging, the carton on the outside, the pricing, and then, of course, how it ends up getting marketed, which often it includes the distribution strategy. It includes what mix is direct to consumer versus who you're partnering with. And so I don't use probably the traditional definition that you would probably read in FIT's manual. I think of it very holistically and thoughtfully. To be successful, you really have to consider all of those elements. And so, in my role as an example at Bare Essentials as a newbie, I didn't create the visual merchandising myself. I worked with our visual merchandising team, but I was all over what it was going to look like. And I got feedback from the retailer, and I made sure that the package really told our story, um, and that the merchandising fixture was able to sell on its own. Because keep in mind, if you go into a Sephora, you go into an Ulta, you may or may not run into somebody who can help you understand what you're
yeah.
looking at. And so you need to have what we call pan appeal with the product. You walk by a tester. Does it look like something you want to touch and feel? Are you curious about it? Does it stop you? Um, then how do you educate yourself if nobody's helping you? You're reading the graphic strips. You're actually touching the testers. You're maybe trying it on your hand. So these are all really important elements. You see the pricing. What do you see first? That's the focus unit. So these are all elements that are really critical in terms of expressing yourself, and that's just the visual merchandising part. So as a merchant, I would work with the visual merchandising team to make sure that what you see comes to life and that what you see is actually selling you, if that makes sense. So that does include the assortment. It includes how it's positioning, it includes the price. So the merchant is actually, yes, working to ensure that the pricing is right. We're working with product development. What are the products that we're going to deliver? What are the exclusives? Can we get involved with the shade range, the product names? And I think the best merchants in the world partner really closely with all departments to ensure that the machine is running smoothly. So again, that includes working with finance. They're, your best friend really to ensure that you've got the right margin. You're working with product development to set that as well. How does it kind of come back? What are the returns and damages? So you're really looking at every aspect of the business. And this is why I consider merchants, the best merchants are also mini GMs. They
Yeah.
work with all departments to ensure that the product is set up for success and that ultimately is going to delight the consumer. And that, of course, includes marketing and how it's marketed.
That is fascinating. So many different pieces that all have to come together to, to create a successful
Yes, and it's
product
it's
and brand.
It's the art of influence and partnership. It's
Mhm.
I don't think any merchant that's successful is one that's going to tell any one department what to do. It's really about collaboration and partnership and demonstrating why you're asking for what you're asking. And I used to always joke with my teams, like we do more internal selling than we do often even with the retail partners that we have because it's so critical to get everything set up for success internally, and then, of course, align with your retail partners, an example, to ensure that everything you're doing is going to work in their environment.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. So today you are involved in a number of really cool things. A CW ambassador for the West
Yes.
Coast, which I would love to talk to you more about.
Yes, yes.
Well, you also just published a children's book, which we definitely have to have to talk more about. You're part of We Are the Board. You have a company called Scale Up. We gotta talk about all these things. So maybe
Okay.
start with CEW.
Yeah, well, actually, if I can preface, I
Please?
feel like
Yes.
for someone who loves being in this business and loves creativity, I I feel like being kind of a serial corporate merchandising senior exec,
Yeah.
um, stepping away from that, all of a sudden I was given this freedom of time, and my brain is constantly operating. And
Yes.
so I call it idea stew. I have so many things that I want to do
I
and
love
so
it.
many people that I want to do it
I
with.
love
And
it.
so I'm going to preface everything we're going to talk about after
Yes.
this from that point of view because
That's
I get
great.
very
No, that's
excited.
so well said.
Yeah, well, and as a consumer, I mean, I could go into a drugstore and I'm curious what beauty products are there? How are they merchandising themselves? What kind of experience are you getting? And I can't even turn it off. Maybe it's a curse. I kind of think it's a good thing.
I have to ask you a question, what you're just saying. How often today will you go into Sephora or a drugstore or somewhere else and just wander around and just see what's going on, check it out? Is that like part of your weekly routine? What do you think?
Because I love it so much, it's happening all the time. I mean, if I'm out and about, let's say I have to pick up a prescription, I
Yeah.
walk through the beauty area because I'm
Yeah.
so curious what they're doing. Anytime I'm online, I'm looking constantly. And so I think about beauty kind of, I wasn't joking, 24/7.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm curious. I'm
Yes.
endlessly curious, and I love to try products. You asked me for my desert island picks. I literally have a bin of all the things that I either love or I'm trying,
I love it.
and so
I love it.
I never turn it off. I actually don't.
I love it. Okay, so good. Okay, sorry, I had to ask you that.
No, I love it.
I was dying to ask you. Okay, but now let's go back to CEW.
Yeah,
So
CEW is this amazing organization. It's Cosmetic Executive Women. It's really created to support and elevate women, which is a big passion, sort of my sole purpose, I think. I'm really, really passionate about supporting, educating, enabling women, and that is what they do, specifically for the beauty industry. And education is a really critical part of that. We have wonderful senior leaders that are a part of their kind of board of ambassadors. And I was fortunate enough to be a board member for 3 years. And so I'm really delighted that they have asked me to come back and be an ambassador and really champion the cause. They have tremendous events, great programming, an amazing set of resources, incredible potential mentors. There's so much that they offer their community, and I am really delighted to be a part of it. I do want to mention also that I'm really thrilled that for any first time members, I have a personal discount code, which is something I wanted to do for so long. So,
right?
coming out of this program, and anyone I meet or anyone who's curious, I have that for them, and
Perfect.
it provides 20% off of the membership. So it's a really great deal for anyone who is curious, has always been curious, or would like to join us.
That's wonderful. Well, you are clearly an amazing ambassador. I love it. I mean, it's great, but truly, I can't think of a better ambassador, a better West Coast ambassador than you. I mean,
Oh,
it's
thank
really
you.
great.
Tina, one of the things that I think is really important about beauty, and I've noticed this, talking to my friends that don't work in the beauty industry or in very male dominated fields, is women do help women. I love
Yeah.
this so much. Women really support women in our industry, and we have so many
Yeah.
female executives. There's still a lot of room at the top, to be
Yep.
honest,
Yep.
for women, but it is a female dominated field, and there's so much we can do to help support and enable each other. So I love
I
being part
agree.
of this business.
I agree. Okay, so what else are you up to today? Well, I know you've got a lot going on in the
Yes. So I've also been a part of a group called The Board. And April, you could tell she's an
yes,
amazing, incredible, talented woman. She is our CEO. She realized during COVID there was an opportunity to bring like minded people together. It's really about, she always says the future is fractional, and fractional simply means you can hire a senior executive for a short period of time, for a longer period of time, for several days a week, whatever suits you. And she's been able to bring in some of the best at a C-level executive level of experience from beauty, fashion, entertainment, tech, and they are an incredible network. So we enable one another, we help inform one another. It's a great source of networking to, for job placements. And I love this group. I think they're incredible. And April truly leads by example. She is the loveliest human. She's very focused on education, but talking about people who are generous with their knowledge and their network, she is that woman, and I feel very lucky to be a part of that team. And Along those lines, I created with my fellow partner a business called Scale Up Beauty, and it is very much providing fractional level support. Really, it's a consulting business if you want to break it down. And we do exactly what it's called, scale up. We help brands scale up their business. I've been so fortunate to work with incredible beauty brands that have catapulted 100 million in a short period of time. And so many businesses fall into a lot of the same pitfalls. And so, from a strategy perspective, a commercial, sales, merchandising perspective, we got you. We know how to do this, and we understand what the levers are, and we know how to help our clients. But we also understand where there could be some limitations. I think that's where the board comes in, because we are the board able to then say, okay, you want someone who has X amount of experience in technology or finance or human resources. I can connect you with the right person. And ultimately, what I'm looking to do is create this amazing ecosystem where I've got the best in manufacturing supply chain, the best in finance, the best in marketing and PR, and the best in even investments, and I can bring that little community together for all of our clients. So
I
I'm
love
having a lot of fun
that.
with this.
Yeah, I mean, what April and you all are building at the board and just this fractional model is so interesting, and I definitely feel like I've certainly been seeing so much more of that
Yes.
over the past few years, so it
Yes.
really
Uh,
feels like great momentum.
yeah, there's so much uncertainty in the world,
Yeah.
but especially in the beauty space, and companies are really reticent right now, especially in their early stages, to bring in these big senior execs at these, big packages and salaries. And so this is kind of a beautiful change. And it's also, I think, delivering something meaningful to the community with respect to, individuals like myself who have been senior execs and sort of tied to one company. It allows us to work with multiple clients and, really work with our own time and availability. So it's
Yeah.
very, from that perspective, I think it's a win for everyone. Win-win.
Definitely, definitely. It feels like, smaller independent brands, if they want to be successful, particularly in a Sephora or Ulta type of environment, but even outside of that, the expectations now are so high for a level
They
of
are.
operational and expertise and
Yes.
professionalism that I think is, as you say, it's out of reach in terms of hiring a whole bunch of executives and just
Yes.
wouldn't be appropriate for a brand early on.
That's right. I think strikes me that I consistently see about new brands in the marketplace is they think they immediately need to go into a big retailer. And, this is one of the biggest pitfalls that I really try to help
Mhm.
brands understand. If they can secure up their own unique brand identity. And there are, a few elements that you and I have talked about that are,
Yeah.
almost like a formula. There are certain attributes or pillars, if you will, that really need to be um, developed and executed before a brand launches into a mega retailer.
Mhm.
Otherwise, the mistake can be so costly, it could actually, put a company into bankruptcy.
Mhm.
It's so important to build these elements, and obviously brand identity and your direct to consumer business, and build a community and build your awareness and that demand. And I've seen it happen over and over and over when you do it the right way, like Bare Essentials did, or Morphe did, or even Kat Von D in the day when I was
Yeah.
working with the brand at Kendo. When you have that momentum and that excitement and that brand awareness, by the time you launch into brick and mortar, it's like an explosion. people will come in and find you. And so that's the place to be when you negotiate with a retailer for the first time. Otherwise, you go into a retailer without that brand awareness, without that traffic, without that momentum. It's a very scary and costly place to be.
Yeah.
You become invisible, frankly. You can't rely on a retailer to build your business for you. They can be an incredible partner in the right timing to do all those things, but a brand really needs to build their own momentum first. And this is one of the most important things that I always say to brands, please don't launch into retail before you're ready. And
Yeah.
don't try to push. It's very tempting. The bright, shiny object is, oh my goodness, Nordstrom wants us, or Sephora wants us, or Ulta wants us. And I think it's much better to be thoughtful about the process and your strategy.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. You have to have the pull, right? You have to have that
That's right.
established pull. So, on this point, one of the things that we've talked about is your framework for scaling brands, which
Yeah.
I love because it's very clear. Now, of course, this is there's no one playbook for
No.
success, but I think it really helps to break it down into like the core pillars. Can you talk more about that?
Yeah. I love this. It's sort of a formulation that came to me as I was really
Yeah.
trying to recognize what makes a brand, get over that 100 million mark in several years, and what helps a brand ultimately have that longevity so they're not a flash in the pan. And I came up with this a number of years ago, and I think it still stands. The levers, as I mentioned, change. A lot of things change, but these three elements are: first, your brand story, right? And second is your product, differentiated product, and third is your go-to-market strategy. And I'm going to elaborate a little bit on all three of those. And these seem so obvious, right? Like, oh, that's not anything particularly groundbreaking, but it's amazing how difficult it actually is for brands to get these right. And I know why. We get distracted and pulled in different directions. We have investors, all the things. But ultimately, if we don't have these three elements right, we won't see a brand succeed. So the first is brand story. And it's really, why should the consumer care? Often it could be a founder story, and it can also be an ingredient story. And I'll give you a couple examples. A founder story, you could have someone like Huda Katan, who is an amazing artist herself. She also did advocate for the community and a lot of other brands as a makeup artist, and that helped her. But ultimately, she was someone people followed. They believed in her. They felt she was very transparent, and she was able to build her brand around the equity she built in her name, Huda Beauty. Um, Another example is La Mer. That's more of an ingredient story, right?
Mhm.
And while people do know there was a doctor or a scientist behind it who was burned, they don't know what he looks like. They don't buy La Mer for that purpose. They buy La Mer because of the myth of the miracle broth and the ingredients that were in it, that were efficacious. And so those are two examples, and there's so many, but ultimately that founder story or that ingredient story are critical because that's the reason we care. That's the reason we get connected. That's the reason we think about that brand. And we love stories, right? We all share stories when we find. So
Definitely.
that story is critical. The second is product. Product that is innovative, that's differentiated, that connects authentically back to the brand story. And that product does include, of course, the ingredients. It's why it works. It's the claims that it makes. It's why somebody can't live without it. But ultimately, again, it gets kind of rolled into the brand story. And it's so incredibly critical. I talk about assortment because assortment is really key. You
Mhm.
need to have a core sort of product assortment. And newness is a part of that, but it can't be the entire story. So when you think about product, in order to scale, you need core products that people come back and replenish over and over, they're loyal to. And ultimately, newness is exciting. It's a bright, shiny object. It's the element that gets marketing exposure, media exposure, gets people excited and talking. But ultimately, if you don't support that core business, it's literally like running in place. You've got that new item and it launches, and it replaces the last new item that launched. And so you really have to be thoughtful as a brand to think about these core products that are really heroes that become franchises.
Mhm.
And so, an example could be a product like Dior Show, which is still a best-selling mascara, and it is for a number of different reasons. One, because when Dior launches a new mascara, they support that core item. So in that focus unit as an example, they have the new mascara, but they also have the existing core hero, Dior Show. So the consumer who comes up to that fixture sees the new mascara, of course, but also sees the hero. And ultimately that consumer may buy both. It could be someone who's never seen Dior Show, and it could be someone who loved Dior Show and forgot about it and then purchases it again. So it's really important to always support the core. And ultimately, what you do is you build these foundational franchises you add newness, and you ultimately grow. So a great example of that would be NARS. You've Orgasm Blush, and everyone loves this blush. It's an icon, right? It's a hero. And it helped many people even learn who NARS is, right? But
Yeah.
then they launched, the bronzer with the blush, the nail polish that's Orgasm, all different variations of Orgasm, the hero. It becomes a franchise. It becomes an iconic franchise. And so you can see how you can build and scale over time by really leveraging these, core hero SKUs, if you will. And then the last pillar of this sort of formulaic strategy that I'm talking about is your go to market strategy. And this, admittedly, is the most difficult to nail down because it's how do you go to market? What are the levers at play? What are the levers that are going to be most meaningful for your business? What is the right distribution strategy for your business? And so this one is, again, admittedly, most difficult to nail down. And there's a lot that goes into it. But believe it or not, the first two, that, real strategy around the brand story, the product story, those two are so critical. And so many brands rush to the go to market without
Yes.
sort of nailing the first two. And so, yes, when I think about the business and how to build a brand, I always start with, what is your brand? Who are you? What do you stand for? Why should anybody care? What are the products? How do those link back to your brand story? How do they come to life? What is the assortment? What are your heroes? How are you going to bring in newness? And third is really that go to market strategy, which again is a bit more nebulous, but it's, how you expand out on the first two.
Mhm. That's a great framework. I mean, one of the things that you said that I think is so crucial is is really hard, but why should someone care, right? When you have
Yeah.
a brand, like what's that the DNA, the why? This has come up in a couple of
Yeah.
conversations that we've had for this podcast, and it's so important. Why should
Yeah.
anyone?
It's funny how many brands you talk to and they think they're being innovative. When
Yes.
CBD was the thing, everybody thought they were being innovative. And I thought, oh my God, everybody's doing CBD, and
Yeah.
it's interesting, obviously everyone's gotten we saw the big clean movement, right? And that will continue. But I think there's going to be a big moment now with artistry brands having a chance to kind of evolve and come out with a unique story that's different than maybe the clean story. And so there
Mhm.
has to be differentiation. There has to be innovation. I always say innovate or die. You know, and innovation can come in the way of a product formulation. It can come in packaging. It can come with the experience that you're delivering. There's so many ways to innovate in the beauty industry, but it's critical to innovate and differentiate. Otherwise, no one will care, and they won't get off their couch or get out of their chair or get into the store or get online. The way I look at it, success from my point of view, when you're building brand awareness and you're building excitement and demand, if a consumer walks into a store and they're looking for a product, if you see that product in the first few steps, that's a win. If you go online and you can find that product within the first 3 clicks, you want to be front of mind and you want to be visible as a brand. And without that point of difference, that innovation, without that excitement, and that demand, you're not going to be in that position. Ultimately, it's also, of course, to work with the retail partner to ensure that you get that visibility, whether you're in the store or online, so that you can be successful.
Yep. Yep. That makes sense. Gosh, amazing. Amazing to get to pick your brain on this. You just such an incredible wealth of knowledge.
Oh, thank you.
So, well, I want a few more things I want to talk to you
Yes.
about. One of them is product. So,
Yes.
let's talk about you tried probably pretty much every product that has ever been you were or you've had a hand in the
I love trying.
building of it. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
What are some of your favorites? What are you excited about?
So this is going to be really hard for me. I have
I'm
all these little
sure.
babies that are my favorites, and I literally have like a bin, and it's
I love it.
hysterical. Um, I When I was running merchandising at Ipsy, I got to try personally thousands of products, and my
Wow.
team was testing. I mean, they were testing thousands, and they still do. So it was really, really fun to find products that I knew about and kind of re-engage with, and products I'd never heard of. So,
Yeah.
I
It's so
am gonna
fun.
try to be really quick.
No, no, no. This is
It's gonna
great.
be
This is
really hard.
great.
So I have a little bin of things, right now. So maybe I'll start with skincare, I guess,
Please.
'cause,
Yes,
I
yes,
was
yes. This
skincare.
is amazing.
Actually, one thing I should mention, and this is cheating a little bit, but sleep and hydration are the 2
Good
best
point.
things you can do to make
Good
your
point.
skin look good. I mean, honestly. So I'm very excited to talk about product. I am a product junkie myself and love to try everything. I love
I
to
love
test
it.
new things. And I should mention, when I was overseeing merchandising at Ipsy, I got to try personally thousands of products. And my team, I think we tried 6,000 plus products a year. It was insane.
Amazing.
And they still test and try all these products. So I am going to share some of my favorites, and I'm going to go really quickly because I have a lot. I couldn't, they're like my babies. I love so
This
many
is
things.
amazing.
So, maybe I'll start with, um, I'm actually gonna start with makeup wipes, and I'm gonna put my glasses on because I'm gonna read some of these. This is called This Works in Transit No Traces, and it is amazing. It removes everything, and I love about 10 swipes of mascara, so I like
Yep.
a heavy mascara lash, and when I'm
Great.
really playing with makeup, this stuff takes it all off, and, very thoughtfully. It's like some kind of rosemary. It's lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, skincare. I am a big fan of Korres anyways, beautiful Greek company, and so I'm testing this product right now. It is wonderful, delightful, called Santorini Grape Poreless Skin Cream, and who doesn't want I mean, I want
Sounds
poreless
great.
skin.
Exactly.
Yep. Yes, delightful, really
Beautiful.
loving that, and I'm just testing it as mentioned. Also, I'm super excited because I love Saint Jane. This is such an amazing brand, and I just picked this up at Sephora. It's the Rich Rescue Phytomucin Cream. Very curious about that one. Um, and let me see if I have any other skincare before I go. Oh, yes. I'm also testing this product by a brand called Mastini that I know the founder, and it is amazing. Literally, you look like a statue from the Oscars. It is so incredibly cool, heavy with vitamin C, which is incredible for your skin. So that one, really, really fun. And what else do I have in my little goodie? Oh, very important SPF. I'm a big fan of Kinship, and this product is a bestseller. It's a self-reflect. I love it for your face. I
Great
love it for the
one.
shoulders and neck. It's like a winner, winner, winner. And the founder is a delight, Kristen Powell.
Agreed.
And let's see. Okay, hair. This is literally saves my life. I don't know if you can see it here.
Yes.
This is even NYC. It is, in my opinion, the best dry shampoo. Can't live without that.
Great to know.
Um, and then this is a little embarrassing. I'm gonna admit, I think I have the scent profile of a 12-year-old. I love Sol de Janeiro's products. I don't like the ones that everybody else uses, honestly. I love this 71, which is a macadamia nut, like caramel vanilla. I do get stopped a lot. People ask me what I'm wearing. And then the Coco Cabana bronze. It's so good and it's so yummy and reminds me of the beach. So I cannot live without those.
So
Again, a little embarrassing
no, you
that
know what I have to say? I think we have, like, very similar, like,
oh,
STEM profile because I also 'cause one of my first jobs after business school is I spent a few years working for L Brands, a parent company of Victoria's Secret and Bath and
yes,
Body Works, and
yes,
so
yes,
was really cool to get that experience, but working with Victoria's Secret Beauty, they had amazing, amazing fragrances, which
they
I
did.
feel like were in the same like, it was like a precursor to
Yes,
the types of mists today,
that's
and
right.
at the end of the day, you smell great, right? You smell great, and so I, totally agree with
I
you.
love it. I love it, I love it. Well, then you probably remember Pink Sugar back in the day, that one.
100%, yes, so good.
I get teased relentlessly about that one. Um, Kopari has the most yummy um sun products, and I just wanted to mention it because I love
Yeah.
Kopari, but you'll probably notice I like a little shimmer, a little sparkle, and this is so amazing because you get the protection at SPF 45 plus the shine shimmer. Okay, let's see. Did I cover all the I have a lot. Okay. So I have been loving, as evidenced by this ridiculous squeeze tube here, Merit's. It's this beautiful SPF tinted foundation moisturizer. I'm not calling it the right name. Obsessed, as you can tell. I did purchase a new one,
Yeah.
thankfully. That's why I went back into Sephora to get some more. And I am also a fan of the Ilia product. This like amazing. Just gives you
Mhm.
a nice glow and not too
Yeah.
heavy. There is also a Kosas product that I was obsessed with back in the day, and it's been discontinued, but I
It's
bought
something
as many as I
insular, yes.
yeah, I bought as many as I could on Amazon. Yes, so I could
Amazing.
stay in business for myself. Okay, this is my favorite stuff is the color. Yeah, my favorite. Okay, so let's see. I am going to start with I, as
This
in
is
the
so
eye.
good.
Tom Ford Dual Liquid Eyeliner. If you've not tried this, it is incredible. I can't go anywhere without it.
I
Amazing.
have not tried it. Now I
Oh, it's
definitely
so
will.
great. You get
Okay.
the sort of lengthening one and then a shorter one. It's so awesome. I'm going to date myself a little bit, but I noticed Makeup Forever seems to be back.
Mhm.
And definitely they make, in my opinion, the best eye pencil kohl. So that
Mhm.
love, that's Makeup Forever. Definitely Desert Island pick.
How did you
Um,
learn to do makeup with
what's that?
eyes? How did you learn?
It helped having a mother who's an artist because I've been doing art my whole life, so I don't see it
Mhm.
as anything different,
I see.
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah, and it makes it fun. But also when I started with Bare Essentials, we did these big events with Leslie, and it didn't matter whether you were in the field or, a corporate employee, everybody got in and did the makeup.
I love
So
it.
it was nice
That's
because
really
people thought I
special.
knew what I was doing, even though I
Yeah.
didn't. This is from a brand called Soshi Beauty, which is so cool. These are refillable. I literally can't live without this blush. It's a cream
Right.
blush and it's this kind of soft focus. They also have this amazing brush that you apply it with. It is so incredibly amazing. It's available at Credo. The founders are adorable, so smart, love what they're doing. And I honestly can't live without this, and I've had several friends try to steal it from me, so I need to have them with me when I travel.
I love it.
I'm
I love
serious.
it.
Yeah, good stuff. Mascaras, I'm a big fan. I like a lot of the clean ones. I think there's some really good ones available. This one's Lawless. It is so great, and Ilia has a nice volumizing one too, but not clean, but still amazing. The Dame Pat McGrath, she is literally the greatest living makeup artist alive,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
I've had the great privilege of meeting her. She
Wow.
even put some makeup on me. It was so amazing. Dark Star, this is an incredible mascara from Pat. And while I'm speaking of Pat, have you ever seen a lipstick component
So
cooler
good.
than that?
So good.
It's like a Salvador Dali in
Yeah, that is
beauty.
so
It's
good.
so cool. She has the most beautiful lipsticks. I know
Yeah.
her brand is in transition, but I just want to say her products are insane. Charlotte Tilbury does incredible lipsticks. This
Yes.
one's a bright one, but Pillow Talk, if you don't have it, you're missing out. She also has amazing lip liners. I'm testing one from Merit. So I told you about Merit. I love this. It's the
So
prettiest,
good.
like soft, gorgeous. Amazing. I just discovered that also. And then I need to do a little shout out to Patrick Ta because he just makes everyone look like so gorgeous. He has incredible lip products. He has these, like cream blushes that are incredible, but I am a big fan of his lip products. Long wear, matte, insanely beautiful. Oh, and then one more lip product. This is from a brand that I've been working with called Apple Doll. It is
Good.
so cool for Gen Z, Gen
Mhm.
Alpha. Like you will see it. It's an artistry brand. So long wear, pigmented, really, really cool. Apple Doll. It's coming. And this is this shade
Ooh,
here. I
pretty,
apologize. I don't
yeah.
know the name off the top of my head, and I'm a little blind at this point without my glasses. So, and then I'll be quick, I promise, with
No,
the
no,
rest.
this is great. I mean, this is like a candy store. It's
It's
amazing.
well,
I
it
could just watch
is,
you play
right?
with makeup all day.
It's so fun. I love makeup. Okay, so before I forget with brow, Anastasia Beverly Hills, like you just can't do better than Brow Wiz. I'm sorry. I always come back to it. And I have to have one in every purse, literally, at all times. Okay, so I'm gonna move to actually I'm still on eye. So
Now,
this
Amina,
yeah.
you travel quite a bit. Do you have like a special travel kit that you bring with you, like your go bag for travel? How do you do it?
You know what's so funny? I have the coolest travel cases that I just don't use. I end up using a Ziploc bag, which
Uh-huh.
is so embarrassing because I have the coolest little bags from Ipsy. I have really great ones from Bare Essentials, Bare Minerals back in the day. And I do have them for kind of my backup stuff, but I change it out all the time because I'm trying new
Okay.
things.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a handy Ziploc bag, and then yes, I do have some other things that are fun that I use, but I don't really use what you would think I would use, like a proper makeup bag. I should. Rowan is a really cool brand that does it's a
Mm.
clean makeup brand that has the best eyeshadows. They are so gorgeous and pigmented and a little bit of shimmer, but not too much for mature skin like mine. I love it so much. And look, I love it so much. It's like the name has been rubbed off. And you
That
know,
love when that happens, right? That means we're definitely
right?
getting using the
So
product.
funny.
So good.
Before I forget, Beauty
Oh,
Blender, the classic,
the
the
best.
real one. There is nothing like it, like nothing.
Agreed.
You can try
Agreed.
other
I
ones,
love
they just
those.
never quite get it right. I love cream blushes and I love a nice little highlighter. So here I've got Natasha Denona is amazing. So I've been using this one. This one is great because it has the cream blush and a powdery shimmer.
Beautiful packaging.
Oh, so gorgeous.
So
Yeah.
glamorous.
I'm realizing I don't have one of the products I was going to show you, but that's okay. Maybe I can grab it. Um, I love supporting some of the up and coming influencer creators, and Patrick Starr is an amazing person anyway, and he has such a great brand. And this product is one that you can mix with your foundation, and it just gives you this gorgeous glow that, like, I don't know, it makes you feel like you have baby skin. And you can add it to your foundation, you can put it on like I just did. And it's amazing how it can make you feel
I
younger
love
and
it.
more glowy. And yeah,
I love glow products.
glow. Give me glow any day.
Yeah, like the
I would be remiss not to mention Lady Gaga. I am obsessed. This is embarrassing. This is falling apart because I've used it so many times. Ooh, and you would think you can't wear that color, but actually, it's
pretty.
really wearable and beautiful on, I'm looking for my glasses so I can tell you more. Oh, here we go. Sorry, this is my eyesight in my mature years. This one's called Fire Opal, and you would think that you can't wear this, but it's like really gorgeous. Trophy Wife by Fenty also has this kind of radical, shimmer when you look at it in the pan, but it's really much more wearable than you would think, and it's perfect for a night out. You want a little bit of glow, or if you're at the beach, it's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. Bobbi Brown has a newish, sorry, it's not really new, Jones Road. She has the best concealer pencils. This for sure I cannot live without. So if you just want to spot conceal or if you want to get under your eyes a little bit, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And I have about three, they're very forgiving. So I have about three different shades that I use all of them. Rhode is incredible. I am actually a big fan. And one of my favorite products is her liners.
Oh, I have
Th
not tried that.
It's so awesome, like, you don't even have to wear lipstick, and you can just put a little bit and get this, like, really natural line that makes your lips look a little fuller, and then she has this really cool little blending thing on the end. There is a
Oh, that
lid,
is
I
cool.
lost it. What's that?
That is cool.
It's
I haven't
awesome.
tried that one. Okay.
And it's like this perfect nude, and I have several of these too. She also has some really great blush sticks that you can use all over your face. Love those. I think she's killing it. And so excited to see what comes next
Yeah.
for Rhode and Elf, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then this is an oldie but goodie. I don't even think it's available anywhere. I'm not sure. But it's a Morphe eyeshadow palette. And honestly, Jaclyn
Oh,
Hill nailed it. These
beautiful. Yeah.
shades, I could wear this every day and have a different look every day. And it's just brilliant. Brilliant. This olive green. Like, and P.S., this is my third one. I've gone through them. It's like
Wow.
really. And for a makeup junkie who has so many things, that's like kind of shocking. And then the last one I want to mention is this brand called Simi Hayes. And they're two adorable, smart twins
That's
that have
cool.
their own makeup brand. And it is so cool. They're stackable, they're little magnets. This is a cream blush, and you can see this is how much I loved it.
Yeah. That's
I
so
think they were
cute.
in Sephora stores and now they're not. So I literally bought up a bunch of them because I was afraid it would go away. That's how much I love this.
I
Love
love that packaging. It's so cute.
Jimmy Hayes Beauty. Yeah. Really, really cool. It is a clean brand. It's killing it internationally. I think
Mm,
has an opportunity for more brand awareness in the US. But yeah, these are my products. There was one other one I had from Olivia Palermo, and it's called Prime Time, and it's this serum that is so gorgeous. You know, the thing that makes babies look so delicious and yummy is they have skin that glows. And so if you want to have that kind of glowy skin, you can put a little bit of this serum around your eyes, like in different places, or your whole face, really. And I swear by it. But unfortunately, she did close her brand, I think post COVID.
mm.
She's so brilliant and she has such an incredible style, this woman.
Yeah.
Everything she made in the beauty space
Yeah.
was incredible. Everything. She had a eyeshadow palette called the Little Black Dress or something like that. So I'm hoping she comes back with something because
Mhm.
I can't live without that product.
It's interesting. I know who you're talking about. I don't know that I even remembered that she had a beauty brand, but it's interesting. Some things take off, some things kind of tread water, and there's an element of unpredictability to it. But it's interesting when an expert like you really likes the product. Guess it goes back to your point around the 3 pillars. You've gotta have them all, not just 1 or 2 of them. I mean, this is so fun. Yeah, no, this is so fun. This is so fun. All right, well, I'm gonna ask you one last question, and you you are involved in so many incredible things and have I see just creativity radiates radiates off of you. I just saw on Instagram this weekend that you published a children's book, in addition to all the other things that you're involved with. Tell us about that.
Yeah. I,
So special.
there are a couple things at play here. One, I I've been touched personally, as I think many of us have been, by cancer, and not me personally with cancer, but people I love. And I lost my best friend several years ago, and I've been wanting to do something to raise money, do something in my small little way for the cause, and so that's been in my mind and thoughts. The second thing is I created a children's book when I was in ninth grade, 14 years old, and I have always thought it would be fun to share that more broadly. I have two daughters that are 13 and 8. And when they were in kindergarten, and even first and second grade, I think, I would read to them the original book just for fun. So this is the original. It was shaped like a carrot. In ninth grade, we were asked to actually write a story for kindergartners and also create it. And I didn't really know how to do it. And you can see this is quite,
So
um,
cool. I
It's like
love
made
it.
of construction paper.
I love it.
Believe
I
it
love
or not, believe it
having
or not, my kids
beautiful.
love this book. They love that it's shaped like a carrot, and they love the original illustrations. I was really lucky that that book was shared with a bunch of kindergartners when I was in ninth grade, and it was one of the favorites. So it was always in the back of my mind that I thought maybe if I have some time on my hands, I'll publish a book, and maybe I can share this book with others. So yes, I have created. It's called The Magic Carrot Potion, and it's all based on my original illustrations and the original story. It is a book that I just published, so it's on Amazon. It's only $11.99 in the paperback form,
Amazing.
and the proceeds I'm going to be giving donating towards pediatric cancer. I have a group in mind, but they ask that you not share the name until you've kind of gone through all the approvals. So I'm going to obviously take the proceeds that I'm making as of this launch, which happened this weekend, and hopefully, donate a lot of money, as much as I can, to support the cause of pediatric cancer. So really fun. And it kind of, it's something I've been sitting on and thinking about for a long time, but I was able to finally put it together and create a book. And obviously now with Kindle digital publishing and AI, you can, I feel like in Blurb, there are really there are easier ways and lower hurdles to creating a book if you want to. So it's my first book, and I'm really excited to get it out there.
Really special. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's incredible. This has been wonderful. You are an incredible person. And
Oh,
the unique combination truly of business and creative that you bring together is so, so special. And it's really fun to see you light up going through product, right? I mean, that's the fun part, right? And
it's
that's,
so
the
fun.
joy in the beauty industry. And you can, you can see it on your face, how much you love it. Really, really special.
Oh, well,
Thank
thank
you so
you
much.
so much for letting me show you the products and
Amazing.
including me today. I think the world of you. I just so honored to be a part
Same,
of your program.
same. Thank you, Amina.
Thank you so much.
If you liked this episode, find more on Spotify and follow There Is No Alternative on YouTube and Instagram.